They're gonna record it.
Hello.
The button that I have to push. Hello, Scott. Nice to
Hi,
see
how are
you.
you?
I have to get this out of our way because it's saying we're gonna record. There we go.
Okay, all right. Good to see everyone as well.
Hi, Scott.
Hi.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order at 6:01. I've lost my paperwork. Oh, there we go. I have it. We have no public visiting tonight. The disposition of the minutes for the last meeting. Does anybody have any additions, corrections?
No, I didn't.
I read it when it first was online.
Right.
I probably forgot by now, but it's-
I didn't see anything.
I think it was all right. It looked all right to me.
It was all right.
Anybody have any comments about the last meeting minutes?
No, I will to accept them.
Okay. Do we have a second? To accept last month's minutes?
Would one of you like to, since we're pulled you into the meeting?
Can they hear us?
They should be able. Can you hear us? No?
I can hear.
Oh,
They
good.
hear
Would
us.
you like to accept, would you like to second the minutes?
Well, I mean, I wasn't there, so it feels.
Oh,
kind
that
of-
would be fair that you don't. Good point.
I'll second.
Okay. I just feel weird seconding the minutes when I wrote them.
I know.
I know.
That's fair. That's fair.
The president's report. Okay, the only thing I have to report is we did talk about trying to come up with some photos of the Dunham house when it was the actual library. So Sally, I was gonna ask you, do you have any recollection of pictures that were taken before the renovation or during it?
Yeah, there's the whole 3-ring binder of the construction process.
Well, I have that.
Okay, is there anything in there of Dunham house when it was the library?
I
The
probably
whole
have
house?
a little bit of it.
Or maybe-
They're not great. I mean, there's the one of Mrs. Dunham checking a book out.
Yeah,
There's a few of the outside of the building. There's hardly anything of the inside. I have things of like older pictures of Dunham House, say from the 1980s or something. I've seen some of those. And there's, no, not, I don't have any of those back that far.
No, but you got 19, it wasn't 1980.
1980s when it was renovated,
Oh,
but I don't have it as the original library with no. But I think we do have some scrappers
Okay.
in the back, but they're,
Okay,
so.
I mean, I can look if you
Yeah.
show me where they are, I'll come and look. The other thing I did contact, because I didn't know what was going on with the Village Historical Association or whatever. So I called the village clerk. And she said that Dana Olney is in charge of the museum and the Historical Society, and she gave me her email. So I emailed her last week. I haven't heard back from her. You know, she may only, apparently she sometimes comes into the museum during the farmer's market.
Ah, okay.
So I hope she'll email me back. If I don't hear from her in a week or so, I'll call back to Becky, the clerk, and ask her if I could text her or call her or
It's
something.
above the town village, it's the old firehouse in the village.
So are you looking for the historical things about the library that the
Yeah,
village
when
might have?
Dunham House was the whole library.
Right.
That was
We
it.
might have some on New York Heritage.
And it would be interesting, I think, to see them,
Right.
you know, when we do the open house or whatever,
Right,
you
yeah.
know, the dedication or whatever we do in
That'd be
October.
very good.
That would be awesome.
Okay, so I'll follow that up.
I'll look at, New York Heritage too might have them. I know, Mark digitized a lot of our old stuff too. I'll ask
When
Dennis.
Yeah.
was this edition? When was it put out, this edition?
Yes, I
88,
seem to
yeah,
remember
So
one.
just the library was just.
Yeah.
Until now.
Well, it's not, they long ago.
No,
Yeah, because I didn't.
Realize who's that.
this, yeah, this, where we're sitting. was.
Cause I, you know, I
It was,
remember.
it's really tricky when it was, because they started, Sally probably remembers, they started planning. So we have some documents and drawings and renderings and whatnot, and then they were edited. So it was this process of about 2 or 3 years,
Yeah.
which we feel that pain right now. But I believe it was done in 86.
So
Well, the
anyway.
plaque says 85, doesn't it?
What?
It might. Let me look. The one outside?
Yeah. Pretty sure it says 1985.
Okay, so I'll, in any case, I'll continue to try to follow up on whether there's a picture anywhere of the old library. It seems like there must be something, because they did have programs here and,
Well, sure, I probably have something from like the Easter egg hunt and that kind of stuff.
Inspiration in addition, 1985. Good job, Sally.
yeah, and I remember when,
They're
before
probably
the
finishing
parking lot
touches.
was there and it was all a big lawn, I remember they used to have a summer
Uh-huh.
program out there, because some of my kids used to go to it.
And we've just canned it, like
But that's
snapshots and
outside.
bin, you know, like everybody has the shoebox. And then there is a scrapbook and there's some things. So I do
Okay.
have something, you would think there'd be more, but no.
I know.
Pictures were
Well, I
expensive.
suppose-
You used to take a picture and then if it wasn't beautiful, here you had, you know, it was $3 for 12 pictures and you didn't know what you were gonna get.
Yeah.
for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I just thought there possibly there might have been some publicity during, when did the library open, in the 20s?
1926 was there, it's complicated. Because when we took possession, or the village took possession, there's one date, it's
Yeah.
actually, it shows on our website, Dennis wrote it up. And then we actually were chartered. So when we were chartered the first time, it was October 28th, 1926. So we will, when we do this open house in October, we will be 96 on that actual day. But then there's other times
Yeah.
that we were chartered as like a school district library
Right.
and all the different things.
Yeah.
So with many,
But I mean, it must have opened to the public somewhere in
Yeah.
there.
yeah.
And at some point, there might have been some kind of publicity pictures between the 20s and the 80s. That's a long time. Something must have gone on. I mean, I used the library in the late
So
60s.
looking for
I think.
photos and
In the newspaper.
When I first came here, what?
A newspaper article, so.
Yeah, possibly.
that might be bad. I do have some, because I
Well,
remember saying, oh, look at that. There was a 1-story addition in the back
Yeah,
and it was taken down to add the addition.
Right.
So that, well, where we walk into Dunham House, that was actually, you walked into what was probably like the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, and then it was turned in, or maybe they added that addition
Yeah.
to the house in 1926 to make it a bigger life. So
So October, what's the date?
October 28th is a Friday.
Okay, so we should have those pictures and.
Yeah.
well, I'll try to see what I.
And there's digital photos of the things we've done recently, but the historical ones would be nice.
Yeah.
But I think
See
the
if
New York
one-
Heritage does have a little album on it, and we'll
So
get you the
you
link
could
and all.
see that it was the whole library.
Yeah.
So
So
let
that
me,
people have some perspective on
We should
on
display
what
it.
it was, because there's a lot of people, they have no idea that
That's right.
used to be it for a library. Up until 86.
yeah,
Or 85.
so we can get the link to New York Heritage and those photos.
Mhm.
Okay,
Oh, you came right when it was brand new.
Well, I mean, well, it was a couple years before that, because Caitlin was a preschooler, so.
okay, I'm set with that. The next thing is the financial report. First of all, the expenditure and revenues report for June.
Right, and I guess the short of it is, we're 61% through the, wait, no, we're 75% through the year, and we've spent 61.16. I think that's because there's something that isn't, the New York State retirement is
Of the
out of there.
the retirement or something that comes in a lump sum at some point, and then, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Are you commenting, Sure?
No,
think-
I'm not commenting.
Oh, do you know when that we pay the New York State retirement?
when we pay New York State retirement is, we ask for it somewhere in September. Hopefully we get
That's
it
fine.
done.
Got it. Okay, and also, and I don't know if it was added to Char's report, but we're kind of adding it to it. So there was an abstract of claims correction. And it was just because the numbering was off by one.
Right.
So we just added it and it'll go in the board book and it'll go in the,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
We-
I'll
we don't
scan
need-
it,
right.
we don't
don't
have
need
to vote.
No,
It's just almost like a typo.
we need to vote
Okay,
on
we
the
need to vote to
Okay,
accept,
I'll make the motion to accept the expenditure and revenue report.
okay,
I'll second,
all right.
Oh, there's more to that.
then the extra.
And we now have the abstract of claims dated from July 13th to August 9th.
The total is of $147,820.35.
And that it still includes
What happened to Scott?
New York State construction grant stuff. Right. That's not.
One of them want to accept it.
I will move to accept the abstract of claims,
That's it.
the current
Yeah.
abstract of claims. Is there a second?
I'll take 1 second, I guess I'll have to do it.
Okay. And we have the director's report.
Okay, well, as you can see, I didn't go to that many meetings. It seems like they all happened here.
You
They
were away.
been crazy, well, that too, actually, well, no, I wasn't in July. But, it was mostly just Dunham House stuff, I mean, like yesterday on my way, the contractor said, are you at work? And I said, I'll be there by 9. I'll be right there, I'll be there in 15 minutes, because, you know, the IT person came in and said, I was planning to be there. Oh, just little things, you know, just little things, we're moving. We're moving and we're renovating at the same time, so there's just lots of things to do. But we moved into our offices, so people, obviously you can see,
Right,
this whole room is empty.
yeah.
So, the day we moved out, gosh, probably a couple weeks ago now, I don't really remember the day, but we had 5 offices in there and they went upstairs over the course of the week. And, we managed to get people's workstations working. There was the IT is hooked up now, but that happened yesterday. And we had old IT there, and then the new IT was actually made live yesterday. So we were using some old ports and some different extension cords, putting people in different offices so that enrolling them into what is gonna be the break room, nobody's really gonna be there, so. We just set up people on rolling tables such as this, actually those kinds of rolling tables. And we made it happen so that we used this room on Thursday for Tai Chi, and so we were out of it. Yeah, so everybody has been, I mean, sometimes we get a little short with each other, but not like mad, we're just like, oh, we're just tired, sorry, we're gonna get it done, all that stuff, but
A lot of work.
it's a lot, and it was personal, you know, I sent a note to people, I said, well, this renovation involved our personal space, right? It involved our workstations and things like that. It was very disruptive for children because we did the carpet, we moved all those bookshelves, and it was a lot of work, but then you could still get your work done. Like I have been coming downstairs and scanning on the, you know, right next to where the information desk is, and then I go upstairs and like, so anything that I normally scan just right next to me had to be, it wasn't like I couldn't do it. It was just a different process.
Yeah.
And so we all were kind of doing a different process for that.
Everybody's pleased with other new offices.
It's coming, I think so. Once everything gets settled, they will, right? And we'll do a little bit more in the next, like, tomorrow is a big day. Curtin wasn't in today, so that kind of satisfied, but the pot is
It looks
empty.
like it's better
So-
organized than the way it was
Oh
before.
my gosh, it was.
So that people have to get used to that.
We planned it to be offices, that helped,
Yeah.
right? We did.
So it takes a little while to get used to where is everything.
But like Rosemary's office has all these storage bins, so Rosemary had to figure out which storage bins to order that fit on the shelf. And those kind of things, and like the tea, you should see in the bag, well, you can look, and there's all these little gift bags in a row, but that was all put together and her office is looking very organized and Christina's we just put her computer back on her desk yesterday afternoon. You know, she was on one of these rolling tables, kind of over here and her desk was over here. So it's not, again, you can roll from your computer to, but it's a process. Normally you just go like this, and you pull out a pen, and like, oh, it's across the room. So we're coping nicely, but we feel spoiled too, because we have a bathroom that, wow, you can walk in, because the old bathroom, I don't know how often you guys went to that old bathroom, but it was very long and skinny. It was an afterthought because the building was, you know, built so long ago. And it's kind of a proper, everything's very nice. Yeah, people feel very appreciated. But things are just in different places. Then it'll take us a good month to pull that together. But the pod did get emptied, so we won't be paying for that anymore. And we just moved some things up in what used to be our break room. And we do want to make that a public room, so adults can sit there and read or whatever. But you know what? I think, you know, we need a month. Well, also that little table, you're like, oh, like a junky little table, but that junky little table can hold your laptop on your desk or whatever, you know, you just sometimes you need a whole lamp or whatever. So we want to just move into our office because Dennis and Jamie are still there. Vale's still back there, but we need to move once now that the IT is on, things will shift again. So that's kind of what our life's been for the last couple of weeks anyway.
Yeah, so it's a little hard to get anything
Yeah.
else done while everything is.
So the IT actually happened. At the time I wrote this report, we didn't have that done, and some of the lighting was put in. The windows should come next week for that bay window, and then they had a special order light for us because they really couldn't find one. I mean, we had a spec for it, and they had all these different ones, but so we didn't. It was a bit of they had a special order the light. So that's the chandelier is on back order still. They keep saying, oh, it's gonna be in 2 weeks. It's gonna be in 2 weeks, but it will be. And like the Wi-Fi literally just went in yesterday upstairs. So we are,
Almost not ever allowed in there.
they are not, we'll probably do tours. There's literally no place for them.
Right, no, I just want.
You know, that, but we are going to, part of the construction grant, that we're gonna renovate that space to be public space. So it'll be smaller than half this room, but not much. It'll be actually maybe the same, just a little longer and skinnier. So we're flopping so that it'll work better. The workflow will be better to have
No, I
staff.
have like a little menu of whose office is where, or.
Yeah. Well, no, probably not. We have mailboxes,
Oh,
but I think it won't be hard for us to
Just
figure
your
out
offices.
within our, and there'll be these different, like shared workstations. So discharge or where we check books in will happen in the back, but so eventually it'll be so close that
Right.
if they're real busy, somebody can come, you know, and help. And the phone for circulation will ring in the back. So then when you're checking books out to people, you won't be bothered by the phone. If it needs to go back, we can send it back. So that's not happening yet, but that's part of the process. And then Jamie and Dennis will be right back there, and then Mark will be in the office behind that, and then the break room. And then upstairs, we had kind of a business office on one side. So Janae and Char, and then me, and then Christina and Rosemary are upstairs because they have those crafts that take up a lot of space.
Yeah, right.
But it's coming, and you're welcome to a tour anytime. So Rotary's going well. We started to have it here. So I did make a flyer that I haven't put out yet because I wanted to approve it with them. So it's kind of like join us, and then this is for those of you who Rotary areas of focus. There's 7 of them. And not everybody knows. Do I only have 6 of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I cut one off. So I'll have to go back to the drawing board. Anyway, peace and conflict and prevention resolution. So, you know, there's peaceful missions and then disease prevention. So that has to do with polio is almost eradicated, except for New York, apparently it's back. So we've been big on vaccinations of polio, and then the treatment of and kind of setting up clinics and things like that, and other, because it's Rotary International, not us, but all of Rotary, so you can team with people, water and sanitation, making sure that the world is a healthier place. Maternal and child health, basic education and literacy, so literacy is something, and a lot of times we have a literacy. Rotary has a literacy group, and that's usually where the librarians fit in. And so there is a separate group of people that meet, and so we have Rotarians in quite a few libraries, Hamilton, Chenango, Canastota. I know Darby O'Brien was part of Rotary, and so I would imagine there's still a Rotary connection. I think Chris is still doing Rotary. So we do it, well, Mid York Library System hosts the Rotary meetings for Utica. So we're working on getting that kind of off the ground in here. We've always met locally, but I'm asking the group to meet here, and then we will be able to do Zoom meetings. So that people can't make it, they can, very similar to
So
the
how
setup.
many people belong to that?
I am a Rotarian.
No, but how many people?
How many other people, like Bob Payne, not here, I'm the only one from the library.
Yeah, just.
No, I'm just talking in general.
And from the community, we have, I think I sent it out to like 13 people, we don't have a huge group. So Kurt is from Marcy area, he used to be an investment person, but he's retired. Bob Payne was Northern Safety, he and his wife are retired from that. And Carolyn is First Source Credit Union. So she represents that credit union, and we have someone, Steve Long is from M&T Bank. And so he's part of Rotary. There's another retired lady, Barb, and we were talking about some possible fundraisers that we could do jointly, or programming that could be whatever. But we were thinking bus tours, not big. But you know what we could do is we could just say there's a Stanley event.
Right,
People could come here and get on the bus.
that's right, that'd be great.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then they could go eating, because parking's so bad, right?
They used to do that
So,
from the
if we did that
From with Chinese restaurant.
Oh, right, yeah, that's right, I remember that.
which is an excellent idea. I mean,
There's
there,
not a lot of parking over there. either.
no,
I know.
there is, but we have a decent amount of parking, so maybe we would work. So Barb's looking into that. I could help, if this is something we could do and we could help,
Yeah,
it would help our patrons. And if Rotary organized it, we might make whatever it is. So say there's, I have no idea, I'm just making this up. Say there's 30 spots in the bus. If you fill it, then the cost of 25 people going goes to the bus group and then whatever, and then the 5 is the profit. And so if the Rotary people do that instead of our staff, then Rotary will get the benefit of that, but then our members would get that event. So I said, if we do something like that, it seems like it benefits the library, which is what my job
yeah,
is.
that's a good idea, well, it sort of fulfills the idea of culture in the
Right,
community.
well, we could go to museums, we could do different, we could do something once a month, I don't know, I threw it out there.
I belong to seniors, and we do similar things,
Okay,
the one in Yorkville, and we have a bus, and we go through the same thing.
so how do you do it?
Well, like, first we went to Stanley and saw,
Oh,
the
good.
musical, we went
Okay.
to dinner, and different things like that, like went to see Glenn Miller,
Mhm,
and, so with a community, so I think if we did the same type of thing, get a bus and
mhm.
all
Yeah.
offer, because
Yeah.
people like me would love to go to those things.
But you have to
Well,
walk a mile,
first of all, I can't drive.
or in at night, it's
So
hard.
so you would get a ton of people, because
Yeah,
I just
I'm
think we're
sure.
filled all the time.
Awesome, okay, well, we want, because, you know, that's kind of an aside, it's really an aside, I mean, it's what we're talking about at Rotary.
It certainly is a good idea.
You know,
So it basically, Rotary's a big deal. I've been meeting with Julia and Kevin, you know, we meet a lot, well, not a lot, every couple of weeks to touch base. I see Kevin more because whatever it's doing, but a lot going on with the architect and the contractor. We did meet about the competition. I don't think we really resolved much. In all honesty, now that I look at that, there was a Mid York directors meeting. We spent a lot of time talking about Libby and Overdrive and that kind of thing, and how it is, because we all pay into it. So we try to figure out, okay, so what should we do? Do we do it by circulation? Do we do it in some way by population? Do we do it by all, there's a lot of different scenarios, and they like have pieces of each, and I said, I trust you, because they have like Lisa Max in there, and there's some different people from different, they say there's got, I don't know, say 6 libraries are involved and from different counties, different sizes and all that. I said, I trust that you'll come up with a great formula.
Yeah.
So that was and we went back and forth a lot about that. So we did, that was July 25th, apparently we started to move into Dunham House. And I do still participate in the Books of Our Lives. It was in the puzzle. I wasn't there very often, or very much at all, because we were involved in moving. And I have spent quite a bit of time working on the New York State construction grant, and it's done except for the assurance that Sue has to sign, but I need to go into some detail about that. And I did the bank deposit that Janae put together, and I just have a little note at the bottom. I know that a lot of times you guys, at the holiday season, we get things, but there's so much food at that time of year. We're like overwhelmed and nothing's welcome. You know, it's just like, it's just the flat, we're just overwhelmed. So I thought if you guys were gonna do that this year, maybe it could be an end of year thing.
Yeah.
You might
that's a good
appreciate
idea.
that
That's a good
in
idea.
September, right? Because like, just know that sometimes we can all come in at Christmas time that we're overwhelmed with that. Anyway, I know later, I'm gonna pause.
Appreciated.
Yes, and you know, I think people have been kind of working hard, so it might be kind of a fun thing, because we might feel a little more settled by the end of September or after the September.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna not talk about the construction grant more until new business. So I think I am done unless you have questions for me. I think I've talked a lot, so you probably don't want to ask anything.
Anybody have questions?
I don't.
All right, we have old business.
It's hard to say. I mean, construction grant is new and old and
Yeah.
it's all I'm going. So wherever it fits. So the construction grant, I sent a document, I think today, so you probably haven't totally taken it in. We've been talking about it, but sometimes like Scott wasn't here, so we might not have heard some things. And all right, the grant title is rehabilitation. Or I said new, these are pretty much what I put right in the construction grant. So if I cut and paste it, because you know, when you edit, I was like, oh, what was it? What did it say last? So I try to keep the most recent thing. We are going, the plan is to renovate these 2 bathrooms. And you can kind of see me. So we looked at, I asked the architect why do we have 3? If we close this, we've got 3 ways to get out of this section. This is redundant. We don't need that. I'm gonna do. So there's no, I'll just have something that really need her. So this will be eliminated because there's no reason.
Right.
Okay, so when we do that, maybe we leave it, turn it into a closet, or we just take this section of what, or I don't know. I don't really know what we're gonna do, but it's kind of in the plan. And so
What's on the other side?
I can show you. So what this is this is nested back in,
All right, yeah,
but we need to keep this
yeah.
because that's where the
Right.
separation is.
So basically, you're going into the same
Right.
space.
But even if it's an alcove that you can put some tables and chairs in,
Yeah.
it's
Right,
good,
yeah.
right? And so then, well, this wall that you see, sorry guys, you can have a tour sometime. There's an interior office in that space that Shar and I were kind of brainstorming about what to do. I said, well, we could, you know, just put a storage in here, and we just kept talking, right? We kept talking, and I'm pretty sure she's like, you know, you don't really need that wall. And then I'm like, oh, you know, we really don't need that office in general. We could just bust that out because it's really just room dividers. They're not structural in any way over there. Obviously, we keep the walls within reason of this room. But then we realized, well, this door is in a weird spot. So it should line up and make the hallway here. And the workflow of it all will change to make that a nice community room. And it'll have 2 outside doors. It will have egress. It's similar to that, because this just goes into another room anyway.
Right.
So that'll just, if there's already a door to the workroom. we'll leave that, but this one pretty much kind of, that door can spin around to be an exit door into this hallway. So we create this hallway with lots of doors. It's a really good use of space. And it'll affect like the ceiling and things like that, but everything will get renovated because we can justify it as part of the construction expense. So that's part of the project. And then the flooring, that old carpet that's in there, that can be aidable also because we're changing things. So this grant involves, okay, so we did the bathroom, these two, sorry, I'll go back and try to go in order. And then what used to be the ladies' room on the main floor, everything's gender neutral now, but that room will expand to be ADA compliant, and then we'll shrink the former men's room. We'll have to absorb it to get it big enough to be a big bathroom, and then what's left is not much, but enough room for a sink. And your hands get dirty, and your hands get dirty all the time, no matter what you do, but books are dirty. Stuff, stuff comes in, so staff will be able to wash their hands easily right there. And then it's really hard to explain unless I walk you around, but we're gonna do it. So we're gonna rehabilitate the community room, we talked about that. And
April,
yes,
how do you know that it's okay with fire laws?
oh, because we know it is. I mean, it wouldn't pass, the architects and engineers know. And yeah, well, right now, these just go into another room. So if we move this, it would be better. It would go directly across from the outside door.
So you're not eliminating that.
We're not eliminating.
You're just
We'll have
moving
two
it.
exits from each, for all of this. So there'll be two exits from each of these rooms, and there'll be two exits from the one over there. So we're good. And actually, they'll make more sense. So I know I can send you that one drawing, but it's little. Okay. Let's see.
The
So,
circulation desk, I think.
yeah, actually, it'd probably be better if we did the impact, but yes. And so what we're gonna do out there on the main floor is the way the circulation desk is the official temporary circulation desk area. We kind of moved it there because when we did the construction grant over here, it worked. So they'll do the bathroom renovation, then they'll spin the desk around. We will have one made that makes sense in, 2022 standards. And it will be so that the staff has their back to Dunham House. So if they don't have to go out into the library and try to get past, they can just boom, go back and come back and forth from the offices in the back. Which is part of when we did that study, we wanted to try to figure out how to put an office behind the circulation desk, which meant we'd have to take the room off the main floor and it wouldn't flow. It never flowed, and somebody said, well, why don't we just lift the desk around? I went, whoa. Why did I think of that? So that's how that changed. And let's see. So then there's some other things like the magnetic door. So we don't put, that door will be held open properly instead of being held open with one of those little kick things. So in the event of a fire, we have to push that up if it's open. And this would just automatically work like the rest of the fire doors. We already talked about reconfiguring the office adjacent to the community room. And in design, and then, okay, and then there will be a new toilet room above the new toilet room in the downstairs foyer. Then we'll put it up in the room upstairs, in the upstairs foyer. So that way, when we go to build the second floor, we will have enough bathrooms in place. And we'll rotate these, because I thought there's no way we can do all this renovation and still work here and be like to codes and all that. So we will probably renovate. We might build that bathroom on the other side pause, or those two, or however we have to do it, we'll figure out the code's requirement.
Yeah.
Right now, we're one up on bathrooms from where we were before. So if we build that one and then maybe do the one on the main floor and then come and do these, so that we always have enough bathrooms open at the same time. That was kind of crazy, and the thought of trying to figure out how to do all the carpeting. Keeps me up at night, but we'll figure it out. Oh, and then, so that's inside work. I think that was all the inside work. Outside, Carmen's been talking to me about that sidewalk renovation, and I have a picture of it. I can even send it to you. So I said, this is great, because I took it more in the winter time. I said, Carmen, it's good you didn't get rid of all that grass growing up through the sidewalk. No, it really shows off. And so I took a before picture of the sidewalk, because it's kind of rocky. Case in point right now, you can see, because the grass, the topsoil from Dunham House, I don't know if you walked to the front door, but you can see that the sidewalk's a little muddy. So we want to have it, so you could with a wheelchair come up, or with a bike or with a stroller or whatever, there'd be a cutout in the sidewalk at the bottom of the stairs, so that you can come up and go in front of Dunham House. Right now, the only way if somebody is on wheels of some kind, they have to go to the street to get to the cutout and come back. I mean, obviously you could go to the ramp and get in the building, but what if you want to be on the lawn? We have picnic tables that are designed so you can push a wheelchair up to them. And how do you get on to the lawn? You can't really get there. And we've also designed these little patios that'll go in front of Dunham House. They're not super big, they're kind of like 5 by 10 if I remember correctly. And we have these little bistro tables that we want to put on them, kind of outdoor space to sit. And so they're nice. They're on this patio right now because that's the one we have, and they have a little umbrella. So that's kind of cute. I have seen some people use them, not as much as I thought they would use them, but I've seen people, they will. But I think it's just as easy to sit in the bench in the shade.
Yeah.
But out there wouldn't be another option. So there's a huge picnic table they're right next to, but I think if they're out in the front, it might be more used. And it's been dreadfully hot, so people don't sit out there so much. I think they'll use them more in the spring and the fall,
Yeah,
if we
that
got them. Okay, so that's the sidewalk, the cutout, and then there also is a little pad that we're going to put right by the bottom of the stairs that we can put the bike rack on, so it won't be in the lawn. But I noticed that people don't want to put their bikes in the lawn necessarily. They want them closer to the building, so then they'll bring them up. Hopefully this will solve the problem. It'll keep it so no one has to move the bike rack to mow the lawn. And it'll be closer to the building. And it'll be a good spot. So what else did I think that's it. The sign. Yes, the double-sided sign. Now, the specs of that sign, it might not cost this much, but we might have to put in a wee bit smaller sign. I didn't have all of it, and I did want to talk to the code enforcement person to say, does the overall sign have to be that big? They spec'd it based on the sign that's currently there. So it will be a sign that has on the top, Dunham Public Library, that's always there. And then it will have almost basically like a TV.
Yeah.
That will say, story time at 2 or whatever, and then it'll scroll to the next thing. We have a TV above the information desk, and it's just basically whatever a PowerPoint slide is that would be presented. You see those, the VFW has one.
Yeah.
It's that. These quotes, I hope are high. They're just kind of a crazy amount. And then I realized the architectural fee was for the just the designs and this basic concept design, but the detail of all the nitty gritty details, like what color the tile is and those kinds of things, that I didn't have. And I said, oh no, this is definitely not all the professional fees. So I've asked Julia to do another one, but she has to talk to the engineers and additional. it wouldn't, I mean, obviously, we needed to do this anyway, we needed to do this specs, but it'll be more, a little bit more than this, which is a lot. I'm not gonna say it's not, but so the overall right now is 459. 357. And I ran it through Mid-York, they read it, these are all aidable things. I didn't quote, we did get a quote for the tree that's gonna be taken down. But that's not aidable. They said it's not aidable, but if you talk to the concrete person and whoever bids on it, and they know the tree has to come out. And if it's part of putting in the sidewalk, it would be aidable, or it would be part of that. It would just be in there.
Did you get a quote on how much a tree?
We did.
How much?
It was 3,000, I
Wow,
think, and
that's
then the little pine trees were, it ended up to be 4,800 with all of it. You wouldn't pay that much. We have to pay prevailing wage, so they have to figure that out.
So when does this go through?
So it's submitted to Mid-York. I will scan that and I will submit it. I can even submit it tonight, but then I will resubmit with the additional professional fees, because we might as well try to get 8 on that rather than not submit it. So last time we got 75%. I don't know if we'll get that much. We're in the neediest part of the district. So we are eligible for 75% if there aren't that many Mid-York projects. I said to them, I said, this is a big ask. I know it is, and you let me know, and we could reconfigure it in such a way. I mean, it makes sense to do all these things at the same time because they touch each other.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not the sidewalk, but the sidewalk needs some help.
Right.
Trees dying. Everything's uneven, you know, there is no cutout, that's a theory. We don't need to do a sign, but since I got here, I remember that
Belong to us,
the sign,
no sidewalk.
the side, that's an interesting thing. We will do a sidewalk permit. The thing is, this is all we're doing for construction grant. I can ask the community foundation again. I told them we were doing a bathroom and they gave us $10,000 towards the bathroom. You know what I mean? And usually we have the $50,000 we have the taxpayers to put towards it too. So it's like, so if
We're responsible for the sidewalk.
we are, I guess we are, because we're tax exempt and they do help residential people, but they don't help like schools and the police department. Yeah, so I asked, they said they usually don't, or like the school, the police department, us, public places, they don't help us with it, but they help residents.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean, there are other things. There are, like, we could ask Marianne Bucksham, there are other grant opportunities. This is the worst case scenario, that we would pay for all of it, and we actually could. If nothing came through, we have enough money to pay for all of this.
Yeah.
But we don't want to. We do, we should. I mean, they're original, they're from 1985.
Right.
So that's a long time ago.
They have to be.
They, you know, these are grandfathered in.
Right.
But
I know, but
it's nice, it's respect for your community members if you, and, you know, get it done, right? We can't. There's a lot of money this year. We
Yeah.
don't know if New York State construction grant will be 34 million again
So you
next
asked
year.
for it.
So we asked this year, because we don't want to leave any money out. But anyway, I did ask Mid-York, and this is a big ask, and if there's a lot of other people asking for quite a bit, then just let me know. And I didn't get this, oh no, there's a lot of people asking. They don't usually tell us,
Right.
because they don't know.
Right.
But I think we have seriously the chance to get 50% of this and possibly
Yeah.
75. Yeah.
So do we need them?
I don't know. I know that Sue has to do this, the assurance. I should remember what we did last year. I should have looked that up to see what the minutes were. I do believe we, at some point along the way, we agreed to keep moving with it.
But you have to submit it, but we don't have to vote now.
We have to vote now.
No,
No.
You would vote
you just
later.
submit that, whatever. you-
Yeah.
to-
Okay,
Yeah.
we will submit it. And actually, I will know more at our September meeting.
Right.
This is due, it's due for us to send it by August 19th.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but then Mid-York doesn't have to turn it in until October, because Sally would know, they hash it out and they figure it out, and
Right.
Mid-York board actually does the decision making of who gets what, but they're usually pretty good about it, and this is big, so they may agree to give everyone 75%, and then at one point, I know we got like 66 or 67%, a weird number, because then they just, the
Right.
larger ones.
Yeah.
Right.
They chose not to fund as much as they. But anyway,
So we're okay with that,
Right.
except for the assurances. Now, there's a document that's already been checked off by somebody who knows what they're doing. I need to do
all
that.
I did was check off what we did
And then
last
there's a
year.
blank. So which one, do I sign both or do I just sign one?
Did I give you two?
This is the
No,
one
wait,
that's already been checked. There's nothing on that one.
Look at me. Maybe I just printed a second one up, just in case, like, you got stage
This
right.
is all done. You did that.
I think
right?
you printed two, and I thought, well, why don't I just, keep it in case.
Okay, so I'll just sign this one.
Just sign them, and I have no idea why I have two. We don't need two. I think it's because when I print things by mistake, I said, oh, I should keep it in case there's some paper. I don't know why I do that. I can't throw things away. And so I was like, people really doesn't like to throw things away. I said, well, that's recyclable. I didn't, it wasn't my time here. Like 20 library chairs that are made of wood. I said, oh my God, they cost like $200 a piece. I can't throw those away. We have to upcycle or something.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can barely hear you, and I
Are we
think it's got
quiet,
something to
please?
do
Who's
with
that?
Alan
Yeah,
got in the car and drove away, and when he got in the car, my sound from my phone kind of went with the car because they're in sync.
Oh, yeah.
So
no.
I'm hoping when he parks the car, I'm hoping it'll come. I can kind of hear you, but I just about have to put my ear on the phone.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that went under new and old business, right?
Kinda, yeah, that's all I had for the most part.
We should look up whether we have to have that, what kind of business it is. I don't think that's enough. I don't think we have to do
We're
that.
spending a lot of money though.
No, but I mean.
But
the
right
same-
now, we're
the
not
same-
approving the spending.
No.
of the money,
No,
we're just
no, I
submitting the-
No, I think that we always can't decide whether it's old business or new business. We should take that out if it's legal.
It's
to-
ongoing.
And then just say something about,
Usually it's,
I think it's if we've tabled something.
yeah.
So this grant is,
Or, yeah, I mean, we've discussed the same grant before, but we
Right.
haven't acted
Right.
on it, but that's been more information.
Yeah.
I think it's.
okay, so before it was informational.
Some people
I
call
think
it
it's
unfinished business
Yeah.
and new business, not old business and new business, and unfinished.
I don't
would be
know.
like-
Well, when that
Well,
comes
that's
up,
almost
that'll-
everything, it's big. It's
When we
all
do
built
that, when we look at them,
through,
we're done with all this.
I could just scan.
Well,
okay,
okay.
maybe it's because I wasn't
Let's
too
move
sided.
on.
Yeah.
Announcements and communication. Which are supposed to be.
Right? I think I just took this out
I'm
of
gonna
the
look
New
this
York
up.
State.
Yeah,
handbook,
but I
right?
think it's not mandatory, it's a suggestion. I'll look it up and then. we'll
Alright.
see. Okay. Do we have any sort of announcements or
Yeah,
communication?
I do. Let's see. Annika's worked here a long time. She's still gonna stay working for us, but she's college bound. So she won't be here all the time. So she's agreed to work, say, summers and time back here from college. And then Bryn worked here part-time. I know, I haven't forgotten you, not Sally, your pal. I haven't forgotten you want to meet people. So Bryn gave notice. She was very appreciative to have worked here. So she's doing something else. And I think that's a college-related shift also. So we were able to, Jody Brown applied. She is retired from MetLife and she just wanted a part-time job. and she's wonderfully qualified to work here. So and we also just interviewed today, Jordan, whose last name I didn't write down. She works at Dunkin' Donuts. She's a junior at Whitesboro. And she volunteered at the Hartford Library, so she knows how to put books away. She understands workflows and she knows customer service because she's worked at Dunkin' Donuts, so she knows the cash register. We were like, whoa, okay.
Those crabby people.
Right, she got customer service. So between the two of them, they really will pretty close to match Annika's hours, and we had to be downgraded, but I think we'll be all right. So we will be hiring those two people. Civil service already, they pre-approved them. That's what we pretty much tell people now.
Yeah.
Are you hiring? No, but apply online. And if we have an opening, then it's all pre-approved
Yeah.
and it's lovely. So we have two people coming in that seem, they'll be quick studies and be off and running. So that in a way, that's, I don't know, it's an announcement of communication, just
Yeah.
telling you what's going on.
Right.
But that all happens, they wrote this director's report, because you know how things are. Things are fast moving.
Okay, we have no public comment. We do not need an executive session that I know of.
I move that we adjourn.
All right. And Scott, before we second, can you hang on a minute after we adjourn?
Sure.
We can
Thank you.
stop recording,
Okay,
because this is just like
I'll
personal
second
stuff.
The adjournment, the meeting is adjourned at 6:52.
You just shut it off, right, Mark? I don't have to say, okay, that we shut it off.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Scott, can you hear me? Scott,
Yes.
your last meeting is, I think, in September, right?